Have you ever wondered why Stoics seem so calm, no matter what life throws at them? It's not luck, it's wisdom. In today's video, we're uncovering 9 surprising topics that Stoics never talk about, and how avoiding these conversations can lead you to a life of peace, focus, and unshakable confidence. Lesson 1. Gossip about others. One of the worst types of communication is gossip. When we gossip, we damage others' reputations and our own. Stoicism teaches us to speak virtuously and wisely, while gossip does not. Judgment and speculation are not Stoic ways of dealing with others. We can't control others' lives, decisions, or defects, so Stoics focus on what we can. By gossiping, we focus on unhelpful topics rather than our own advancement. Gossip fosters jealousy, wrath, and fury, which hinder rationality. When we propagate or listen to rumors, we forget the Stoic principle of sympathia, that all people are connected. We lose touch with others via gossiping. Stoicism urges us to build others up, providing compassion and understanding even when they are absent. Though you shouldn't condone others' bad behavior, a Stoic must respond to negativity with insight, not empty speech. Stoics emphasize virtue, honesty, fairness, courage, and wisdom. The nature of gossip is to distort the truth and promote injustice by exaggerating others. Instead of respecting others and minding our own business, petty judgments weaken our courage. When tempted to gossip, remember Stoic ataraxia, inner peace and tranquility. Recognize that gossiping about others disrupts your peace. Stay silent or talk only when virtuous, helpful, and rational. Avoiding gossip helps you keep your dignity and cultivate self-control, a key Stoic virtue. Lesson 2. Your personal achievements. Stoicism values humility, so boasting about your accomplishments is wrong. Being proud of your successes is natural, but talking about them too often can lead to arrogance and alienate you from Stoic modesty and simplicity. Stoics believe that deeds speak louder than words, and that true accomplishments need not be trumpeted. Discussing your personal accomplishments can also lead to needless comparisons, which can cause envy and discontent in yourself and others. This contradicts the Stoic principle of contentment and not seeking external validation. Stoics find joy in their work and virtue, not outward acclaim. Marcus Aurelius, a prominent Stoic philosopher, advocated doing good for its own sake, not for praise. Talking about your accomplishments can make you dependent on others. However, Stoicism emphasizes inner power and fulfillment. You should do good things and strive for perfection without others' approval. Epictetus says true freedom comes from ignoring others' opinions. Oversharing your accomplishments might also divide you. While you may be proud of your accomplishments, boasting can alienate people who feel less accomplished. Stoicism emphasizes empathy and perspective-taking. Instead of brag, help others succeed. Being humble is the Stoic way. Let your deeds, not words, demonstrate your character. Practicing humility and modesty is important to Stoicism. Lesson 3. Complaints about circumstances. Stoicism teaches us not to grumble, because most life events are out of our control. Focusing on things we can't alter wastes energy and leads to anger and pessimism. We can regulate our behaviors, thoughts, and responses, according to Stoics. Complaining keeps us powerless. Former slave Epictetus, one of the most important Stoic thinkers, stressed that we must discriminate between things within our control and those beyond. Complaining about circumstances shows we reject this essential reality. Complaining is like resisting reality, which causes additional emotional distress. Stoics urge us to accept life's good, bad, and neutral with amor fati, love of fate. We reduce the emotional burden of wishing things were different by accepting our situation. Complaints make us unhappy and add nothing to our lives. Stoics advise us to be grateful for our hardships. Why? Because every struggle is a learning experience. With resilience and a positive outlook, we can use life's challenges to progress. Marcus Aurelius said, "Impediments advance action." Obstacles can lead us to our larger purpose, not only obstruct us. Complaining can also create a victim mindset, which is anti-Stoic. Stoics take responsibility for their acts rather than blaming others. Avoiding complaints lets you control your emotions and actions, preventing external factors from affecting your enjoyment. Overall, Stoics don't grumble about things they can't influence. They prioritize adapting and responding wisely. Acceptance and thankfulness bring tranquility and resilience, while complaints bring negativity and powerlessness. Lesson 4. Money and wealth. Stoicism holds that money and prosperity are not necessary for happiness. Stoics believe happiness comes from virtue and wisdom, not material riches. Money and wealth talk encourages connection to external things, which goes against Stoic concentration on what we can control. Money and wealth can lead to an insatiable drive for more. Stoic hedonism, desire for external things, only causes dissatisfaction and suffering. Depending on wealth for happiness can never make you happy. According to Seneca, it is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor. Money talk typically causes anxiety and loss. The Stoics advise us to disregard money. While required to life, it should never determine your worth. According to Stoics, excessive discourse about riches promotes the mistaken idea that financial success brings contentment. People sometimes compromise their qualities to pursue wealth because greed can eclipse ethical decision-making. Instead of money, think of inner wealth, virtues, wisdom, and character. No one can steal these, and they bring enduring satisfaction. According to Stoic philosopher Musonius Rufus, true prosperity comes from living in harmony with nature and virtue, not from material possessions. Money discussions can divide people. Competition and jealousy result from money emphasis. Stoicism promotes cooperation and compassion, stressing helping others over comparing wealth. Avoid discussing money and wealth. Stoicism is about self-mastery, not wealth. Realizing you have everything you need for a good life brings peace. Lesson 5. Political opinions. Politics typically elicits strong emotions and bitter discussions. Stoics should avoid political discussions that promote anger or irritation. Stoicism tells us to focus on what we can control, and most political results are beyond our control. While being aware and engaged as a citizen is crucial, obsessing over political topics can cause stress and conflict, which are bad for your mental health. Polarizing political discourse might create a us versus them mentality. Stoicism urges us to regard people as human beings with flaws and virtues. Political disagreements can make it easy to forget our shared humanity and focus on our differences. Marcus Aurelius says, "We are all part of the same organism." Stoics advise us to treat political opponents with compassion and respect, rather than as foes. Stoicism teaches that everyone acts according to their own morality, even if you vehemently disagree. Instead of getting upset in political arguments, Stoicism advocates staying calm and analytical. Avoid political talks since they detract from personal growth and virtue. Stoicism emphasizes self-improvement and virtue over external factors you cannot control. Too much emotion in political outcomes just frustrates you because they are influenced by various things. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, advises us to focus on our ideas, actions, and responses. This does not mean Stoics avoid politics or civic duties. However, Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and important Stoic philosopher, believed in virtue and knowledge. Stoicism instructs us not to get tied to political outcomes. You can improve society via voting, civic engagement, or action, but your pleasure should not depend on politics. Political talks often cause anger and irritation, which Stoics shun. Emotions distort our judgment and prevent rational, moral living. Maintaining harmony inside yourself and respecting others, regardless of politics, should be your priority. Avoid heated or divisive political discussions. Stay educated, but don't let politics make you emotional. Focus on virtue and self-improvement to maintain inner peace during political upheaval. Lesson 6. Anger and frustration. Strong emotions like anger and frustration can cause harm. Stoicism teaches us that these feelings are bad because we lack mental control. Even in difficult times, Stoics stay calm. Discussing anger or dissatisfaction merely exacerbates them, making Stoicism's inner tranquility harder to acquire. Discussing your anger reinforces the perception that someone external caused it. Stoics believe that only our judgments and reactions generate pain. Epictetus famously remarked, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Talking about your anger gives external events power and controls your emotions. Anger impairs judgment and causes irrationality. While angry, we sometimes say things we subsequently regret, act hastily, and make bad decisions. Stoic apatheia, freedom from damaging emotions, teaches us to observe and let go of anger. Discussing anger, especially in a way that perpetuates it, prevents emotional mastery. Shared frustrations can also propagate negativity. Venting spreads negativity by passing on our emotional weight. Stoicism teaches us to be calm and rational, not chaotic. Manage your anger internally instead than discussing it. Self-reflection and reason might help you identify your frustration. Unmet expectations or unfairness, which are out of your control, often cause fury. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Receive without pride, let go without attachment." This relates to emotions. Recognize rage and dissatisfaction, but don't allow it control your actions or talks. Maintain composure and choose logic over emotion. Stoics reduce rage and impatience. Avoiding conversations about these feelings prevents them from taking over. Focus on controlling your reactions and achieving inner serenity without negative emotions. Lesson 7. Personal problems with no solution in mind. Stoicism instructs us not to linger on unsolvable situations. Rumination and mental pain sometimes result from discussing personal issues without a solution. Instead of ranting, Stoics take responsibility for their problems and find reasoned solutions. Sharing personal issues without solutions might reinforce victimhood. This contradicts Stoic prohairesis, the ability to choose our responses. Stoicism teaches that we always control how we handle life's challenges. Instead of continually discussing your problems, Stoics advise you to consider solutions, focus on what you can control, and act. Epictetus taught, "Do not seek to have events happen as you wish, but wish them to happen as they do happen, and all will be well." This involves accepting reality and focusing on how to respond, not regretting what cannot be changed. Talking about your difficulties without a solution resists reality and wastes energy. Discussing unresolved personal issues can sometimes strain others emotionally. While it's crucial to seek help when needed, expressing difficulties without solutions can damage relationships. Stoicism teaches us to communicate with compassion and solve issues, not create more. Stoicism emphasizes self-reflection and problem-solving over talking about them. Marcus Aurelius wrote extensively in his Meditations about utilizing reason to overcome life's obstacles. He thought that every challenge was an opportunity to grow and be good. Avoid negative comments about your problems to focus on positive change and personal progress. Avoid discussing personal issues without a solution. Stoics consider themselves responsible and focus on what they can manage. Instead of pointless debate, rationally ponder and find solutions. Lesson 8. Criticism of others. Stoics frown on criticizing others. Stoicism tells us that we can only control our response to others' acts. When you criticize, you let outside factors affect your mood. Criticism promotes judgment, wrath, and superiority, which hinders Stoic virtue. Marcus Aurelius advises us, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." Critiquing others clouds our minds and obscures this advantage. Critical thinking frequently arises from fears and frustrations, which Stoics do not transfer onto others. Stoics believe in sympathia, that all humans are connected. Criticizing others divides humanity. Stoicism promotes empathy and understanding above judgment. Recognize that everyone is on their own road and doing their best with their knowledge and experiences. Criticizing others often prevents you from fixing your own mistakes. Stoicism promotes self-reflection and improvement. Before criticizing others, check your own actions to make sure you're virtuous. How much better to heal than seek revenge from injury, wrote Seneca. Instead of criticizing or retaliating, we should improve ourselves and help others. Criticism also wastes energy that could be used constructively. Stoics lead by example and allow their deeds speak louder than words. Instead than criticizing someone for acting unfairly, model better behavior. Avoid criticism. In conclusion, be mindful of your activities and kind to others. Criticism divides and degrades, but Stoicism promotes harmony and virtue. Lesson 9. Fear of the future. Future fear is one of the most common and unreasonable causes of anxiety. No one knows the future, thus worrying generates stress. Stoicism encourages us to live in the now and rely on our inner power to overcome problems. We forget the Stoic lesson that we can only regulate our reactions to external circumstances when we fear the future. Epictetus said, "The chief task in life is simply this: to identify and separate matters so that I can say clearly to myself which are externals not under my control and which have to do with the choices I actually control." The future is outside our control. Stoicism advises us to mentally and emotionally prepare for any event, trusting that we can handle it. Fear of the future also keeps us from enjoying the present. Marcus Aurelius remarked, "Do not let the future disturb you, for you will meet it, if you must, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present." This indicates that worrying about the future is pointless because you will have the same tools to tackle it. Practicing virtue and focusing on the present prepares you for the future in the best way. Discussing future anxiety frequently fuels it. Talking about your fears empowers them. Stoicism says we should accept our fears but not let them govern us. Instead of worrying about the future, focus on how you can develop yourself and live your ideals today. Be confident that you will confront the future with Stoic strength. Finally, avoid discussing potential fears. Stoicism encourages us to be present and control what we can. Believe in your abilities to face the future rationally, and do not let fear rule your actions.